Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget memory lane. So today we're going to do some construction in our lap book journal, and the first thing we're going to do is put our eyelets in to be able to tie our book shut, like this lap book here. And so we're just going to put in eyelets that we can put some ribbons through, and then those ribbons can be used to tie it together. Now, we are not going to put the ribbons on today because that would just be this much more hanging out of our book as we're trying to finish it. So they don't get in the way when you're using them, when you're using your book. But you can just use one string if you want to. You can wrap around your journal instead of putting in eyelets. You can put a tie around your journal, maybe hook it in the back, or just tie it around and take it off and put it back on each time. So, and something, not for this journal, but something I did find at the resale store, thrift store, I thought this was pretty awesome. And if you were probably... If you were a teenager or a young adult in the 80s, you'll probably know exactly what this is. It is an elastic belt, and this is the buckle. And I am going to shorten this up one of these days. And like I said, not for this journal because, first off, this journal to me needs to be tied because of how much is going to be in it, but also it doesn't match or anything. But I am going to put it on a journal like that one of these days. Actually, it doesn't look too bad looking through the camera, but looking at it here, it's a little bit too bright. And like I said, it's not quite the right closure for this journal, but so if you see those, that could be a good idea. I don't even know what made me look at belts that day, but it was like, this is pretty cool. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our eyelets, and we're going to decide where we want them. And I'm just going to kind of go to wherever the center of the book is. To me, that's where they should be. So let's have a ruler here. Let's get one that maybe we can actually see. Alrighty, so the book is about 10 1/4 inches long. So we need 5 1/8 is going to be our center. So I'm just going to come in here, and because I have ribs on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there are 8 ribs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be my center of the cardboard, and then I'm going to line this up at the top and do 5 1/8. So there's 5 1/8 is right there. And honestly, and I'm not sure really why, I'm just going to do it at 5. Which I guess the 1/8 of an inch doesn't make much difference. But for some reason, I tend to like them just a touch higher to the top than I do to the bottom. So right there is my center point. 4 ribs on that side, 4 ribs on that side. So that really is the center. And then I am just going to use a hole punch to punch a hole so that we can put an eyelet in there. And this is called a silent setter. It does work very nice. I've had this for a really long time. I got it in a D-stash. And I really didn't even kind of know about hole punches, or I mean, I knew the standard typical hole punch, but the reason I did actually like this after I got it was because I used to craft very early in the morning, and it does not make a lot of noise. So that is a nice thing about it, because you don't bang on it, you just twist it. And you can get little things like this where you pound them. This is going to take a little bit of muscle to get through this one, because I'm going through cardboard, glue, a book spine, a thin fabric, and then an upholstery fabric. So, and the biggest thing is, yes, a little bit of pressure it's definitely going to take, but it's also just going to take a little bit of time. And I do believe Yes, I have. I've gone all the way through, including... you know, you're supposed to set something underneath of it when you do it. I need to just do a quick double check. Okay, it didn't go through to my table. Yeah, it's sharp. It's basically, it's a blade. So don't forget to put something underneath of it when you are cutting, because I went right through my book. I went through everything I said, plus some paper, plus about 3 layers of tablecloth, but luckily this is like folded over quite a few times. There we go. Now you do want to take your bits out before you do your next one, because you don't want them to kind of be in the way. You want a nice empty opening there. All right, so we're going to come and do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll pick some eyelets to put in there. Now that we're on this side, what I need to do, because we already have our signatures in this side, and I think that I have decided, I didn't know if I wanted to kind of push it over and put it here, but I think I'm going to try and go right between the two, and hopefully 5 inches. I should have done this side first because I've got strings here, and luckily 5 inches, the strings are up here and 5 inches is down here. That was my thought, was, ooh, is 5 inches going to be right where my strings are? Because then it would cut the strings and that would not be good. All right, so this is 5 inches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just counting the ribs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the center rib. And that is 5 inches right there. So luckily, I got lucky that it's not going to interfere with anything. I'm just going to kind of line it up. And where's my little... In the box comes a little... oh, what do you call that? Like a little cutting board. There we go. Or I could have just put a regular cutting board under there, but definitely make sure you put something under there. And we'll just go back and forth. So, and that's the thing with this lap book. Didn't plan it out ahead of time. Was, you know, I mean, I kind of plan it out each section as I go. So sometimes I'm running into problems like this. Like, ooh, I forgot to put my eyelets in. You know, when that happens, the only thing you can do is just go with it. You know, you just figure out how you're going to fix it from there. Luckily, I did have space here, so I figured I probably would be able to get there, to get through it, and I did, so that was good. But if I couldn't have, I could have put a tie around this book. You know, there's nothing that says it has to be, even though that's what I wanted, was, you know, I wanted to put the ribbons through. Now I'm going to get, this is an eyelet setter. So this just has a little bump on it to hold it in the center, and then you just put weight on your eyelet to squish your eyelet. And I'm going to close the book up because I want to decide what color we want the eyelets. But yeah, so as you're going, if you find that you kind of put something in the way or whatever, you just figure out a way around it. There's always a way around it. All right, so we do have some light bluish gray. Oh, that looks really quite nice. I have some light blue here, but I wouldn't like those at all. No, these ones are like buttons. Well, there we go. And I got these in a D-stash too. You know, that's the thing. And actually, when I say a D-stash, these ones and the eyelet setter came from a lady in the large city near us. And she was getting rid of a bunch of craft stuff and just selling it by huge boxes. Whatever was in the box is what you got. And that's where these came from. So remember, keep your eyes open. You don't have to go, if you were to go and buy all of this at the craft store, especially how many are in here, because there's a lot in here. Normally when you buy these things, you know, there might be 10 in there. I probably paid for the whole box of stuff that I got from this lady I probably paid what she paid for just these eyelets. So, you know, just remember, you don't have to have everything right away, and these are what we're going to use. You don't have to have everything right away, and you don't have to have that many of everything right away. I mean, look at the fact that we want our eyelet on the outside, so we're going to set it on the inside. You know, that is money that she spent that she no longer has for something else she may want to do. And it seems to me she was a paper crafter, and she was kind of changing into more of a, like, painting type crafting. So, alrighty, so now I'm going to kind of push down around this eyelid a little bit, and kind of wonder if I have something, I want something to push on it with, because I just want to kind of push around it to smash that cardboard is sticking up, you know, as tall as the eyelet. And I want the eyelet to go over that cardboard, so I'm just pushing the ribs of the cardboard down. There we go. That should work pretty good. And then we have to have the right size of this. And then you just put your weight behind this one. Oh, I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm going to do it again just to make sure. That's in there very nicely, and it's got a really nice size hole to put our ribbons through when we pick our ribbons at the end to put in there. So I'm just going to put it under this side. Find our center. Grab my ruler, and again, I'm going to push that cardboard down. Because you want your eyelet to fold over top of whatever it is you're putting it through. So I want this side of it to come over this spine. And I have lots of layers here. You can get eyelets that are deeper than this, or, you know, like the shaft or whatever is taller, depending on what you're doing. Okay, now there we go. I'm just going to put that on there and put some weight behind it. And if you have a hard time, like, squeezing a punch, you know, this might actually work better. Again, you're putting a lot of weight behind it, but it's just your weight. You know, you're not having to squeeze anything. And I have plenty of weight to put behind it. That looks good. There we go. So now that's where our ribbons are going to go to tie this shut. And we'll pick what color ribbons we want at the end. And again, like I said, you can put whatever you want through there. I like to have a few different ribbons, like on my own there. But you don't have to have them. It is a little bit, because there's more than one, a little fiddly sometimes. Okay, so now we have our eyelets in, since I forgot to put those in last time. And the other thing that I forgot to do was put a thumb hole in our little gusseted part here. So, and I'm just gonna maybe go, I don't want to go halfway, I know that, but maybe almost halfway. I really got to give that one a punch. Wow. Because that was so heavy. Thick cardboard plus heavy paper plus heavy paper. That's really kind of cute. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a thumb hole, so it's easier to get in and out of there. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to put our some base construction here so that we can put a lot of flips and flaps on it. I don't want to cover up this whole back page. So what I've decided I want to do is I want to put, don't forget we have our pen box on the bottom. So I don't want to fill up this whole page, because then when you go to close it, your pen box is going to close on it. So I only want it to be as big as what will fit. And this will fit really nicely if I put the 8.5 by 11 sideways. So, and I don't want to cover up all of the pictures. So what I'm going to do is I've decided I want to put this right here. It is going to cover up this bit of a picture here and part of this one, but that is the way that lap books work unless you completely start at the beginning and plan out what's going to go where. And I would not have been able to stop this anyways, because this is the cover of the book. So, you know, I couldn't have not put it on there. It came that way. Alrighty, and I am going to pretty much line it up with the top of the page. I'm a little bit high. That's because I definitely want to make sure that we miss our box as we go. So make sure that it's straight and then decide. It's going to need to fold. Okay, here is our spine. So we want to be a bit inside the spine. I'm going to come in probably about 1/8 of an inch. And that's where I want to fold it. And I am going to use the scoreboard for this, just because I think that it will make it a little bit straighter than if I just try and fold it by hand. But you don't have to have a scoreboard. You don't have to have anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I need to shut this. You can always find some other way to do what you need to do without the expensive tools. And if there's anything that you think, I wish I had this or I wish I had that, let me know. I'll see if I can figure out how you can do it with something that you have in your craft room or you can get very reasonably at the store. Alrighty, so there we go. This is going to be our first part. I'm just going to leave that down there because we're going to do some more. Alrighty, so this one is going to attach here and fold over like that. So then I want it to fold back again at the other edge of the page. So that is going to be, and I'm going to come right to where the edge of my colored page is. That leaves a little bit of the actual book cover. Okay, so I'm going to line this up with the edge, this side, and then I'm going to make a mark right there. So that's where I want to fold it. We're just going to kind of Constantina this. And I can't give you these measurements because it's just going to be whatever fits in your book. So just remember that, you know, that just put it up to your book and see what's going to fit and make a mark. I didn't even have to measure this because I'm just doing it by marking with the pencil. Okay, so this one is going to be glued on here, and then it's going to go that way, and then we are going to take another one, and we are going to glue it to this flap. The nice way about doing this way is we've got a lot of area to glue to. That is really nice. So I'm going to line that up. And then I'm going to fold it. I'm going to crease it right here. And if there's not a line on my scoreboard that's exactly where I made my mark, I just pick the line that's closest to my mark. Okay. So this one's going to glue on there. All right. So I don't have a paper clip right here, so I'm just going to use a clip, but I'm going to clip this one on here. So we will open it up like that. So we'll have this page and this little bit, and then this is going to be attached to here. Oh, I do have paper clips. Hold on. Because I just want to see how far I want to go with it. I don't know how, you know, like how many pieces of paper I want to put on here. All right, so this is going to attach right there. Because again, we're just winging it, so I don't have it all planned out ahead of time. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to fold the papers and then have to like fold more papers to show you what I was doing. All right, so that's going to be attached there, so we'll have this page, and then, okay, we'll have this page, which will also open up to this. Alrighty, so I think that we will do one more. Do we want to do one more? All right, so let's say we were looking at it. We've got this, this, and this. Close that up. And we've got this, this, and that's as far as it goes. I think we need one more. It is a lap book, which they're supposed to have lots of tucks and fun things. So I'm going to take that one, line it up there. Alrighty. I'm going to just bring it down a little bit so I can see how far over I need to go. Right there. Oh, good. It looks like it's going to be a little shorter than this. I didn't want it to be the same size as this. Of course, I could have cut a little bit off too. And that was just more for the fun of it. So I need to put a score in it. Right there. So this one is going to attach right to here. Okay, so now we've got this flap here. Let's go ahead and attach it. And that last flap, because it's not big as the bottom piece, we can choose to make it go either way when we get that far. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So that could either go this way, like this, and so then it would open up like this, and like this. That's the bottom. Or we could fold it in this way. So we would just have this bit here, and then when you opened this up, this would open out, and then we would have this and this, and this, or again, because now we've got a concertina, it opens up like that, kind of like our map opens up. So at the time when we decide what we're going to do with this, we can decide which way we want this flap to go. If it was exactly as big as this, like I said, I could have cut it just a little bit even, but if it was exactly as big as this, then when you're trying to fold it in, it's so close to the spine that it's a little bit tight, especially depending on what you're doing. So there we go. Now we've got that, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these all together, and then we'll put a heavy book on them. So I know that this is the back. Okay, so that's going to go in just like that. So I want to just make sure that I don't accidentally glue that or something. So I hope that you're all, if you're playing along with this, I hope you're having a good time. I really enjoy doing these types of things. And I know that for some people, it's very, like you want to have it all planned out ahead of time. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, so this one is going to be glued. Now I lost my place. All right. That gets glued to the back. Then we've got that. Then this is going to get glued to here. So I'm going to put this just like that so I remember. But yeah, just, you do what's comfortable for you. If doing it, just winging it is something that you don't enjoy doing, then don't do it. When it comes to crafting, I really don't want to get this all over me. When it comes to crafting, do whatever feels right to you and whatever makes you happy. And I don't mean that like everybody's, oh, do what makes... No, I mean, seriously, that's what crafting is supposed to be about. It's supposed to just make you feel good. Just relax, enjoy what you're doing, and just feel good about what you're doing. So if it's not making you feel good and you're getting all tense and everything, then try something else. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to do what you thought you wanted. I think I'll like that. And that's why I always say, don't go out and buy expensive items for whatever craft you think you want to do right away. Try some kind of a homemade, or try someone else's if you have a friend that has something when you're talking expensive tools, because you may not like it. If you really like it and you find that you're going to stick with it and you really want to do a lot of it, then you save up and you go get the more expensive materials for it. But yeah, and there's, a lot of times you don't really need the expensive materials anyways. I really do kind of find that I use my own things a whole lot more than the store-bought things. It is nice to have them. I'm not saying it's not. It's nice having that eyelet setter. It's nice having different punches. But that's another one. I have so many punches, and I can't even tell you how many of them I don't use, because there's a bunch of them that I don't use. Sorry about the crinkle. There we go. But then again, most of them I picked up at garage sales, secondhand stores, craft people getting rid of their crafty items. And I have also been a little bit of a collector. So I have crafty stuff from when I was very young. And I'm talking like 7, 8 years old. I have colored pencils, a nice set of colored pencils from when I was really, really young. And because I don't get rid of anything. So this one is going to go. All right, this one is there. That one is there. This one is here. Open it up. And then again, we're going to put this in a heavy book. Oh, which actually, I don't even have my heavy book. I'm going to have to go put this in my heavy book because I took my atlas in the other room the other night to use it on another project I was working on. Alrighty, so there we go. Now, it's a little bit over right here. I will eventually trim it down. It does not have to be absolutely perfect. This is a base, so by the time you cover it up, nobody's going to notice if it's perfect or not. And even if it's not, and they do notice, it doesn't matter. So that's going to then go in our book. And I'm not going to put it in the book yet because it's going to go in there just like that. I'm not going to put it in because I really do, with this all being wet glue, I want to go stick it under a heavy book. Oh, I do have my heavy beans here. You can hear me making a mess. Whoops. There. Now, I do have to say that when I did the spine, I did it with E6000, and I put my beans on it. And when I picked them up, I thought, I wonder, because that stuff really does smell. The plastic on the bag did smell. So it may be very wasteful, and I really apologize to anybody who is upset with me, but I am not going to cook those beans at any point in time. I will keep them in my craft room and use them for weights. But because that E6000 made the plastic smell, I don't know if that soaked up into the beans. So remember those types of things. And to me, it doesn't matter because I would have used, after I had that suggestion, I would have went out and bought them specifically for the craft room. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like you don't want to make people sick because you don't want to waste it. And I mean, people use them for bean bags and that type of thing. So I'm really not doing any different, except I'm not decorating the outside because I just want the plastic so it doesn't stick. So there we go. That is what we have done there so far. And let's just take a quick flip through the other side. So on this side, we have our map that's over here. And so that Constantine is out like the other does. And, oh, this is where I did the button. So I'm going to have to cover that up because I sewed that button right through. And I you know, paid attention to that. I knew I was going to do that. This was here to keep it from sticking because I put a little glue on it too. But so we're going to have our farm in here. We have got the area with our train station. Our school's going to be in this area, our downtown, and our subdivision. So I think that this is as far as we're going to go this week. Just the construction of what we've got there. I'll get those, and I will glue in that little back piece, you know, before I come back. But I think that next week maybe we'll work a little bit more on our map. Maybe we'll work on our train station or our school or something like that. But that's, I think, what we will do next week. So we just kind of have all the different spots here. We've got the map, we've got our journal spots, we've got our lap book with all its tucks and pockets and everything. So there's lots of different places to go. Sure is one that's not going to get you bored very fast. Oh, and then we need to do a pocket. I think what I've decided is I like this with here. So I haven't decided if I actually want to put it here, if I want to put these journaling cards there, or if I want to put them on this side, just put a pocket there and put them in that pocket. I'm not positive because I really like the way this looks, but it is kind of, I don't want to say it's useless because it's writing space on the other side. We've got a couple pockets here, but I think that maybe a thin pocket across the bottom, and then these could just go in there. Into that pocket, and I think that they would hold nicely. So that's what we'll do next week. We will work on our map. I hope that this wasn't too boring this week. Construction is not the funnest thing, but it is, you know, it's the base of your book. It's the thing you have to really take some time at to make sure you have a really nice, usable, sturdy book. So, because I carry mine with me to a lot of different places, and it gets kind of tossed here and there, but it's still really sturdy because I built it sturdy, you know, using things like fabric and cardboard and making sure that the glue gets dried and nice and sturdy before you move on to the next point and make it get kind of wiggly. Then it will always be that way. So thank you very much for stopping by today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.